Hello there guys, I'm Wahid, I'm a photographer living in the Netherlands, and in this video we'll be comparing the Nikon Z6 to the Nikon D750. I recently sold one of my D750s and decided to buy a Z6. Why did I want to upgrade or get a new body? Well, as a photographer, I also really want to branch out into making more videos, and as you might know if you've watched other videos, the Z6 just has way better video capabilities compared to the D750. And also the eye autofocus is something that really appealed to me. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And yeah, the Z6 in general also has many more benefits and features and good stuff compared to the D750. But let me just tell you right away, I wouldn't say that the Z6 is miles and miles better than a D750. I really love them both equally and I still use them both equally. Yeah, let's quickly change positions because this isn't very comfortable. I'm crushing my legs. Alright, the Z6 versus the D750. So the D750 is filming me right now, so I'll use this box as a replacement, something to point towards. And yeah, let's first start off with what I like about the D750. What I mainly like about the D750 is the feel and the sound. It just has that classic DSLR feel, you know. Like when you take it and you shoot it and the mirror going up and down, pats, pats, pats. That just sounds and feels so good, you know. It's almost more fun to shoot with. What I also like is the battery life. It's a bit better. I wouldn't say like 100 times better or something, but it's better. Mainly because you don't have an electronic viewfinder and mainly because I use the screen much less. But luckily the D750 and the Z6 they share the same batteries, so I can just keep using my old batteries, which is a big plus point. What's also very convenient is that you can charge your camera with a power bank and USB-C cable. You just plug it in, you open this, plug it in, and the battery will start to burn, and now it's charging. Super convenient when you're like on a road trip or traveling or maybe in a train. Other than that, the optical viewfinder sometimes also has its advantages. I actually do prefer an electronic viewfinder, but an optical viewfinder is also nice. It's just nice to look through it and just see things the way they are outside. But on the other side, it's very nice to be able to see how your image will actually turn out. Okay, I think actually that those were my main points about D750. In terms of image quality, these two are pretty much identical, I would say. I've shot a lot of photos with the Z6 and also took a lot of pictures with the D750. And when comparing the two on my computer behind me, I couldn't really tell any differences. So in terms of image quality for photographs, I think they're pretty identical. You can't go wrong with having a D750. Alright, I have to take my notebook, because the Z6 just has so many good things going for it that I can't remember all of them. Alright, when I compare the Z6 to the D750, I would say that the Z6 is a much more mature camera. It has many more features, it's very modern, it's well equipped, the design is sleek, it looks good, and yeah, it's just a much more advanced camera. It's like more of a complete package. Whereas the D750, I see it primarily as a stills camera for photography. You can make pretty good videos with it. I've actually made videos with it, also for clients and for myself. You can find some more on my YouTube channel. All around, I would say this camera is much better, especially when you also take video into consideration. In terms of pure image quality in stills, I would say they're pretty identical. The full frame sensors are really nice, very good in low light. Yeah, tech sharp images, very good. Hard to tell the difference between image quality. One of my concerns was the FTZ adapter, which is used to adapt all my older lenses to the Z6. And I can safely tell you with like full confidence that this adapter is just amazing. All my lenses work flawlessly. I've tried many different ones. This one is from Samyang. This one is from Sigma 35 1.4. I'm now filming with a Tamron 24-70 G2. I've also used that one a lot on this camera, and they all work just flawlessly. If anything, I would say that they have improved. Why? Well, mainly because the autofocus in the Z6 is much better than in the D750. Yeah, so that transfers of course to those lenses as well. So if one of your concerns maybe is that your third-party lenses won't work very well with the FTZ adapter, no, don't be worried. It works just perfect. One thing that I should mention is the Tamron 24-70 G2 lens, which I'm filming on right now. Let me show you. Yeah, so the Tamron 24-70, I had to upgrade the firmware to make it compatible with the adapter or with the camera itself, because it wouldn't work without that update. Luckily the store where I bought my camera did it for free, so that's okay and fine. Right, so I mentioned that one of the reasons for me buying this camera is because as a photographer I want to branch out and also make more videos. But ironically, I haven't made that many videos yet with this camera. I mainly did photography. I'm just convinced, I know that the video capabilities are much better. 120 frames, 1080p, 4K, 30, just perfect without any crop or anything. The focus peaking is really nice, also with manual lenses and manual focus. I must say though, using these f-mount lenses on the Z6 body, when autofocusing while in video, yeah, the lenses make a sound, you will hear it. That's a little bit of a bummer, but it was the same case on my D750. When you use a Z6 lens, when you use a Z-mount lens, then yeah, then it will be silent and it will be just perfect. Maybe I can show you. Yeah, my Sigma 35 in particular makes a nasty noise when autofocusing, but okay, it's yeah, it's fine. But yeah, the focus peaking on the screen makes it so that I don't really need autofocus, because it's just so much easier to focus now that I have focus peaking. So that's a really big plus. The viewfinder, one is an optical viewfinder and this one is electronic. I like both a lot really. But I think I would prefer the electronic viewfinder, mainly because you can directly see if your exposure is correct. And that saves me time, it saves me from taking extra photos, it saves me hassle in general. You don't have to think that much about your settings anymore. You don't have to constantly check them, because you can see it right away. Yeah, it's a really good electronic viewfinder, very smooth, looks crisp and nice. And yeah, really happy about that. Also very convenient that you can, on sunny days, actually look through your viewfinder and continue filming. That wouldn't be possible on a normal DSLR. So that's also a big plus. The Z6 has a much better LCD, this screen. I just love it. It's so bright, so crisp, so good. And I especially noticed it in the dark at night when I was photographing, well, doing some longer exposure photos. I could see much better how my image would turn out. It was just a clearer image in general. Now, the Z6 has a joystick. It's cool and fun and nice to have, and when you press it you can actually make it do whatever you want. But I still prefer to use the normal circular pad thing over here. I think because I'm used to it from my D750. Both are good and fine, but yeah, it's not a deal breaker or deal winner for me. But it's nice to have a joystick, sure. Another important thing that I think should be mentioned is the fact that this camera allows the use of Snap Bridge. That's like Nikon's app to use your smartphone with your camera. The D750 also has one, but it's very old, very clunky, not user-friendly, and it feels a bit slow. And Snap Bridge, on the other hand, is also very modern and fast. It also has Bluetooth connection. The images transfer much faster. There's a lot less delay when you are looking at your screen of your smartphone. And yeah, that's definitely a big plus. I do like to take self-portraits, and I can definitely see myself using that. Right, some things about the Z6 that I still need to get used to. So it's always using either using the screen, or when you get close to the viewfinder it uses the viewfinder. And like when you're not using your camera for, let's say, a minute, well, it just takes a little bit of time before it shuts down so that you can start saving battery. And with a normal DSLR that was never a concern of mine. But now I continuously keep thinking about that because I want to preserve my battery life. Use it as long as possible. Yeah, that's something. Another thing that was a bullet to bite through or something was the XQD card. XQD card. They are like literally 10 times more expensive than an SD card. It's weird. But yeah, I just bought a 120 gigabyte one. That's enough for like many shoots and a full day of wedding or whatever. And also I don't have an XQD card reader. And an XQD card reader is necessary to upgrade the firmware of your camera. The fact that it has one XQD card slot, it bothers me a little bit because I am sometimes still concerned, like when I'm shooting something for a client or doing a wedding and I do use this camera, what if it does fail? I won't have a backup. But many other professionals also use the Z6 and they are using it and they're fine with it. I'm also okay with it. 2 card slots would have been nice, but I think this will also be fine. It was getting a little bit chilly and I had something to eat. Right, where were we? Yeah, the eye autofocus. I've got something to say about that. I'm happy that I have it. It's okay. It's not as good as the Sony's eye autofocus, but it works. It especially works well when you're like closer to your model, when it's like a shot something like from the waist and up. At some point when they go like maybe 5 meters away from you, then the eye autofocus doesn't really work that well. It focuses on the face, so that's fine. But yeah, it's like a bit inconsistent. It's weird. But in general though, I'm happy with it. I'm getting more shots where the eye is in focus, even when shooting at f1.4. Whereas with my D750, it was more of a gamble. I like put my focus point, my single point focus on the eye, and I would shoot like multiple times to make sure that I would get the eye properly in focus. But with this one, 9 out of 10 times, like even more, the eye is properly in focus. So yeah, every time that I get back home from a portrait session and then I look at these photos, I keep thinking to myself, wow, so many photos which are actually properly in focus. And that makes me happy and it gives me more keepers, more good photos which I could use. Alright, in conclusion, both of these cameras, the Z6 and the D750, I really love them. They both have a good place in my heart. I don't plan on getting rid of my D750 anytime soon. But yeah, the Z6 is at least as good as the D750 and much better. It's a much more advanced, more modern, more sleek, better designed camera than the D750, I would say. What I really like about a D750, that's like personal preference, and maybe because I'm also used to it, is just the look and the feel. Whenever you hold it, it feels like proper, big, solid. And whenever you take a picture, the mirror that goes up and down, snap, snap, snap. That sound, it's just great. I love that feel, it's like fun to shoot with. Whereas the Z6, well, it doesn't have a mirror. Which also gives another advantage, which I didn't talk about actually, silent shooting. Not so long ago I was at the recordings of a TV show and I was taking like behind the scenes photos there. And I could just put my camera on silent mode and it makes 0 sound at all. Which is really great. Also like when you're doing a wedding or something, sometimes it is very quiet and you just don't want your loud camera to make noises and to distract people. Also, I didn't talk yet about the in-body image stabilization of this lens. So yeah, This lens, for example, the Sigma 35 1.4 art lens, it doesn't have a stabilization feature, but this camera has. When I used to use the lens on my D750 when filming, for example, I could really see my shakes, my hand movements. And with this one, it's much more stable, really nice. It also allows me to take photos with a much slower shutter speed without using a tripod, just handheld. Overall, fantastic cameras. This one just has way more features, better video, better autofocus. I love it. The eye autofocus also usable, not as good as Sony, but yeah, this is Nikon's first mirrorless. They've done a really good job with their first mirrorless. I'm excited about it. Zero regrets. Yeah, good stuff.